Hello, one and all, is my view of My Hero Academia, Chapter 15, Platitudes. And this chapter answered a lot of questions for me. First off, Deku's new quirk, Fajin. I've been very confused about what exactly this thing's been doing the last couple chapters. A lot of people online seem to assume, oh, it's just a strength enhancement, it just makes Deku stronger, but that didn't make a whole lot of sense, as it seemed at odds with what we know about the new quirks and Deku's strength overall. But now we finally got a proper definition for it. Quirk Fajin. Repeated movements build up motion-based energy for temporary storage and release. Huzzah! And this is actually a pretty cool power, and we saw this a couple chapters ago. Before Deku jumped through a freaking building, he was going up and down his knees again and again. I assumed back then, oh, he was just stretching, but no, he was storing up energy in order to release it down the road, in order to jump through the freaking building and reach Lady Nagant's. Oh, that was cool. That was so freaking cool. And I've actually seen this in another series. The main character got the ability to basically store up sword swings. So he swung his sword 30 times in a row. And then the one time he swung at the enemy, he released this combined power of those 50 swings all at once, utterly obliterating the enemy. Though it also obliterated his sword, because his sword couldn't handle, the combined power of 50 swings all at once. So I'm very confused about what exactly this is doing to Deku. I mean, he was able to move at, we called it faux 100%, to outrun a freaking bullet. Oh, that was cool. That was so amazing. I loved it. But this doesn't seem to have done too much damage to his body. I mean, his legs and his arms do seem a little bit worse for wear, but not the equivalent of him going 100%, not the equivalent of him actually releasing, all the power of one for all at once and, utterly breaking and obliterating all bones in his body. So is releasing it this way, releasing it through the power of Fajin, doing something differently, is allowing, less stress, less damage to be done on his body and allowing him to use more of One For All's true power? I'm very, very curious about that. And it's still, faux 100%. So down the road, when Deku is actually able to use 100% of the power, will he be able to, use 100% of the power and then add on Fajin's, multiple punches, kicks, whatever, on top of that to make him even stronger than All Might was? Because, oh, that'd be fun. That'd be very, very fun to see. And, what is actually the limit to this? I mean, if Deku just, went punch, 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 punch for an hour straight and then went to fight All For One, could he just do, one punch? Like one true ultimate punch that would utterly obliterate, eviscerate, and atomize All For One down to the cellular level? Oh, that'd be amazing to see. It'd be absolutely freaking amazing to see, but I'm assuming there's a limit. I'm assuming there's a maximum amount of energy he can store up. I mean, it seemed before to just be like one punch, one kick that he was storing up to double the strength of his power, but I don't know, I'm very curious about that. Anyway, though, second question this chapter answered was Overhaul. Turns out he's not crazy. Yay! I mean, mostly. He's still a little bit broken, especially in this one panel where he's screaming out, I held up my end of the deal. Take me to the boss now! While Lady Nagant is hundreds of feet away from him and pointing a gun at him. Oh, Overhaul, you're funny. But he's also able to have, full conversations with Lady Nagant, able to get his point across, able to recognize Deku and point him out to her. So, yeah, he's more or less cognizant, at least a little bit. And he really just want to go see the boss. He apparently wants to apologize to the boss. I mean, even if he's just apologizing for his plan failing, not for his plan being, super duper evil, that's still a good first step. A good step for him being redeemed at some point down the road. And he even says, he's not worried about revenge. Doesn't care about revenge anymore. He just wants to go see the boss. And the reasoning for that is definitely going to be interesting because if I remember correctly, didn't he leave the boss in a coma so he can continue running, the Yakuza by himself without the boss interrupting, without the boss's morals getting in the way of his plan to, conquer the entire world with a quirk negator? And if that's the case, is there a way for Overhaul to fix the damage he did to him, to wake him up from the coma? I mean, he doesn't have his arms anymore, but apparently, according to one of the data books from My Hero Academia, it said that Overhaul's quirk adapted to his new body and allowed it to function somehow, but it was very unclear in the details. So, is he able to use his quirk by rubbing his, arm nubs on people? Can he use his quirk, through his feet instead? I'm not sure about that. But if he can use his quirk even a little bit, and he's less evil than he was before, and he wants to make amends to the boss, then he might end up being on Deku's side, helping Deku stop Shigaraki and All For One, and, basically saving the world. I could definitely see it being the case, and very, very curious. I am still somewhat convinced, I'm still somewhat hopeful that down the road, Ariel will have to show up and help him save his arms, regenerate the arms that abused her time and time again for the sake of the world, for the sake of being a hero and protecting the people. Oh, I want to see that. I want to see that so badly. But anyway, by using a third quirk, Deku is basically able to match the speed and power of All Might, outrunning a speeding bullet and pushing Overhaul out of the way. And I'm just amazed he managed to do this without, shattering all the bones in his body. Not Deku's body, Overhaul's body. I mean, he's moving just stupidly fast here. Literally faster than a bullet. And he pushes him out of the way. how is he able to do this with such little force that he doesn't, just completely and utterly break Overhaul completely? I mean, Deku's control is just next level right there and very impressive. And it's interesting to talk Yads with a third about how he realized his problem back then, the reason why he froze up after using a third quirk before was because he was trying to use all the quirks at the same time. 45%, Danger Sense, Smokescreen, Black Whip, Fajin, and Float. It doesn't work that way. He can't use all of them at the same time. It just doesn't work. Now he's narrowed down to just using One for All, Black Whip, and Fajin, and as a result, he isn't freezing up. His body isn't stopping, and he's able to do a second blow, attacking Lady Gaunt and utterly destroying her gun barrel, which, that looks painful. That looks really, really painful. I mean, the gun is made out of, her skin cells, her body. I'm assuming, she feels it when it gets broken like that, so... kind of curious about that. Also kind of curious if it could heal. I mean, yes, she has much bigger things to worry about than the gun barrel being broken, but what if, the gun barrel can't heal? What if the gun barrel just is permanently broken moving forward? I mean, she had that line in the past, the former head of the Safety Commission said, "That right arm of yours will make our society a better place." I mean, the arm was what she used time and time again to kill people, heroes and villains alike, who went against the government, who endangered hero society. So with it gone, with it no longer part of her body, maybe she can, move forward, become a better person, live a better life as a hero. I mean, we see Deku, rush in to save her, because of course he does, because it's so utterly Deku thing to do. I mean, he does just fight a little bit. The shot she fired at Overhaul wasn't actually aimed at him, but was a little bit off, so it just, went right past his head, and yet Deku still went out of his way to save him. Love that. And, when she first showed up, even I was saying this before, she could have fired directly into Deku's spine or lower body and completely paralyzed him, made it so he couldn't run away anymore. She went the easy route because she still has the soul of a hero, because she's still a hero at her heart. And she recognizes Deku's true hero spirit, calling him the real deal, but unfortunately, All For One is one step ahead of the game here, as he put a self-destruct sequence in her somehow, a failure clause. If she failed to kill Deku, she would explode. How? That's the big question. How exactly is she doing this? I mean, the explanation a lot of people online seem to be saying is that All For One gave her a third quirk, a quirk that would cause her to self-destruct, but doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So instead, I think All For One used a quirk of his we haven't seen before that allows him to basically plant a bomb inside a person where he can, watch things from their eyes, and if they don't follow his orders, they'll, explode, self-destruct, which, oh god, I would really, truly hate to see a villain who had that quirk just in the average day, go into an average person and say, rob this bank or I'll make you blow up. Oh, that'd be terrifying. It'd be utterly, utterly terrifying to witness. Though it doesn't seem like the blast immediately killed her, as Hawks went in and saved the day, caught her before she hit the ground, which is interesting, very, very interesting. I mean, I'm curious about this. Is she going to survive? I mean, Overhaul is fairly close by. I mean, she did try to kill Overhaul, so he might not be that willing to help, but if he is, he might be able to undo the damage done to her and save her life. Maybe he can even take out whatever All For One put inside of her that he's using to spy on her. That'd definitely be helpful. That'd definitely be helpful. Though if, she can't be saved, if she can't be cured fully, maybe she can still get, message to Deku telling him where All For One is located, some big clue about how to stop All For One, about who's working beside him, who, he's managed to win over his allies up to this point, or just, some general direction where his base is located. I'm honestly not sure. I mean, I just feel like Lady Gaunt's story isn't done yet. They built her up to be one of the most interesting characters in this series, a spy used by the government to kill time and time again, who grew sick of the twisted, corrupted world, the lying and the deceit of hero society, and so she turned against it. I mean, she's the kind of person Deku would need by his side to, fix hero society once All For One is taken care of. The kind of person they need to make sure that the mistakes of the past aren't repeated again. So, I don't know. I just really don't know, but let me think all this down below. Do you think Lady Gaunt is dead? Do you think they're going to get some sort of final message out of her? Or do you think Overhaul is going to save her somehow? I mean, like I said, apparently there's been a data book that said that his quirk adapted to his new body, but I have no idea how. I mean, maybe now he uses like the nubs of his arms or his feet to apply the quirk. If so, I kind of feel like he would have a lot less precision, a lot less power than it did in the old days. And like I said before, I really, really think that before the big final fight, when they go up against Shigaraki and All For One, they're going to need him at his full strength to remove All For One from Shigaraki. And in order to do that, they're going to need Eri to fix his arms, which, oh, I so want to see that. I so want to see that. But yeah, what do you think's going to happen next? What do you think of Deku's new quirk? I mean, I do think it did some damage to his body, but not the equivalent of him, going all out with his full punch. So, is this a workaround? Is Deku now able to, basically discharge punches for every fight and obliterate enemies with power almost the equivalent of All Might? I'm just really not sure about that, but link all this down below. Be sure to like, subscribe to this video. And until then, peace!